Today we will be talking about everything I need in 2024. Hi everyone and welcome back to Stitch and Thread. Or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Anna, I'm a knitter based in the UK, and on this channel we are talking mostly about knitting. At the end of 2023 I finally dipped my toes into the garment knitting and there was no turning back. So today I would like to share with you all the knitting projects that I have completed in 2024, my first year of knitting garments. I will be talking about the patterns I've used, the yarns I've chose, my general view on the item, as well as its cost, as I believe it's quite important to know that yarns can be expensive and budget accordingly. I will also do a try-on of the items that I have knit for myself, so you can also see how they fit me. First of all, a bit of statistics. In 2024, I have finished 24 items, and by finished, I mean they're completely done. All the ends are weaved in, the items blocked, it's ready for wear. For this, I have used my Ravelry page, which I generally keep up to date, as well as like my old-fashioned knitting like journal, where I just keep all the information, as well, I guess, in case Ravelry will cease to exist. I have knitted 10 sweaters, 2 dresses, 1 cardigan, 4 summer tops, and 7 accessories. I do not really have any baseline to compare, and to be honest, I don't see any need to compare, as knitting is my hobby and I don't really want to set specific targets to achieve, because it's something that should bring you joy and happiness. One thing I would mention though, that I would really want to see more cardigans in 2025. So my first finished project as of 2024 is the one I'm wearing right now. It is Anne Ventzel's Super Selene. I have actually casted it on the 1st of January because I decided to participate in a Cowl organized by Valentina from my ivory room, at least in the UK, in support of Anne Ventzel's kind of ongoing cancer treatment. So I thought, even though this was actually my second ever knitted garment, that there will be enough people if I get stuck and I can ask for help. So to be honest, it's been, just under 12 months since I've completed this project, and even though it's not something I would normally, I guess, wear, it is very warm with its like big sleeves. For the second project, it was a color work. There was Italian cast on, Italian cast off. There were lots of things, and I think generally I wouldn't recommend for it to be your second ever knitted project. But surprisingly, it went very, very well. And even the group which was organized, there were a couple of tips, and it helped me a lot. But in the end, it wasn't as difficult as I anticipated. The yarn I used was just quite simple. Drops Air, as well as Kidsilk from Drops. I wouldn't really recommend, especially not Mohair. As you can see, one change I've made, I have my hem kind of turned down. It's not the normal look of this Super Selene, but I found that Mohair, at least Drops Mohair, is quite itchy, and my neck is a very sensitive area. This project cost me £82 and 23 pence. I think I will try to put on screen in dollars, just so people understand a bit better wherever you are. For clarity purposes, I just count the yarn I ordered for this project. I might have not used all of, say, 10 balls I purchased, but because I purchased something specifically for one project and I intended to use it for one project, unless I can return it, but usually it's not the case. So it's the price I paid for yarn and shipping. And I did not include the cost of a pattern, A, because a pattern can be reused if so, and B, because we know that pattern costs, 5 to 8, I guess, pounds, probably $5 to $9. So I didn't feel the need. I also include in the cost any other items that are part of the project, say elastic bands, I don't know, fleece lining, any pom-poms. I mean, it's something you purchase specifically, like buttons, for example, for a specific project, but not, say, knitting needles, again, for obvious reasons. Also, for reference, I'm quite petite. I'm just 1 meter 54 centimeters. I'm like, my bust circumference is 76 centimeters, which is what, 30 inches, I guess. So everything I needed for myself is the smallest size that the designer provides. So size 1, XS, whatever they call them. I absolutely amazed at how useful this project is in my wardrobe. So useful that I have needed versions for other members of my family. The next project I would like to share with you is Cable Cowl by Anne Ventzel. Unfortunately, I no longer have it with me, so I'll just put a picture. I needed it in drops, baby Merino, and actually Mohair as well, but that Mohair was light and it was much better. I still was off gauge, so it turned out much smaller than anticipated, so I've already gifted it to another child. But I keep on thinking that I need that in my wardrobe as well, because I like when my neck is warm and protected. So the next project I've completed is this quite long, actually, a dress. This was not done for me, even though it looks actually it could fit me if I so decide, but it was done for my daughter. It is Woodland Fairy and it's just by Drops Design, so it is a free pattern. I did it for my daughter Christmas dress, which she actually did use for our Christmas day, so it worked out quite well. It is not worn that often, purely because I guess it's a dress and I think my daughter is not a big fan of tights. Surprise, surprise. But I personally really enjoyed knitting. I did a few modifications here, like the twisted rib. I think it was 1-2, and I did it like with twisted rib. I quite like the lace part. It was quite simple, and again I did all the twisted ribs for the hem and for sleeves as well. The cost is £38.85. I remember I ran out quite quickly of this yarn, but because I just purchased, I was able to get some more yarn in and finished it reasonably quickly. I can't comment too much on wear of Drops Daisy, which I used here. I think it still peels quite a bit, but because it wasn't worn too many times, I don't think there are too many problems with this dress. The next project I've completed are Nalu Mitts. Let me just turn them over. Actually, let me just show you the beautiful side and say that was more or less my first project using some sort of cables, and I encountered quite a few actually issues. I've tried to knit these and I just couldn't figure out why. I seem to be following everything right, but my cables do not turn out right. And I went to my knitting group and there was one lady there, and she was also baffled. I was showing her that I'm doing the cables, and she's like, you seem to be doing it right. And then she kind of turned my mitt inside out, and all my cables were inside there. And it was because I was trying to read the chart from left to right. So I did something right, but not quite. So it was a good lesson to learn. Now I'm very careful how I read my charts. The yarn for this project I purchased years ago was Superwash King Cole Luxury Merino DK. I think it's Superwash yarn in color Fuchsia. So I wouldn't really put a cost on this project. It was actually leftover. These mittens actually have been used quite a few times by my daughter. The next project I've knitted in 2024 was this lovely Selene Junior sweater. So you can see, very similar, but the children's version doesn't have really high collar here, so it is all kind of easy and stretchy, as well as you only use one strand of yarn. So, well, for myself, I used Drops as well as Mohair. Here you just use one strand of blown yarn. For this project, my daughter is quite sensitive to everything, so I decided not to use drops air, but to use the yarn recommended by the designer. It is Gepard Garn Puno. It worked quite well. I actually quite like this yarn. It's plumper than drops air, quite nice, very soft. The only thing is, because there is no more hair, it peels quite a bit. I mean, I didn't depeel this sweater at all, but you can see it doesn't look as good. It's still okay. I think if I peel it, probably would be better. But my daughter used it. It seems to be quite soft, but obviously she still would put like a t-shirt underneath. But even so, it is quite soft. I think it's a very good project for a child. The yarn is quite soft, so yeah, all positive here. And how much I paid for it? The cost of this project is £32.50. I didn't stop there, and I have decided to knit each member of my family a Selene sweater. So it was a turn of my husband, and he chose yarn for himself. It was also Gepard Garn Puno. I don't know if I can actually show it. It's huge. Yep, like this. I mean, it is huge. I mean, he's quite a tall guy, not very big, but still quite tall. And obviously there is no male version of this sweater, so well, for myself, in order not to give away of the pattern, I think some people complain that armhole could be a bit too low, and I did decrease a few rows, I think, in between the motifs as well as anything after the motifs. For him, I actually needed some more because obviously men's shoulders are much bigger. It turned out quite well for him. However, because of the size and because of the yarn, because I use Gepard Garn Puno as well as Gepard Seta, and for him I needed quite a lot of them. This is the most expensive project of the year. It cost me £182.22. You appreciate the size difference. Like, I would be quite reluctant to spend so much money on yarn, but to be fair, as well as me, my husband loves this sweater. We kind of wear it all the time, sometimes also just like now in the house. It's really cold today in the UK, so even though it is the most expensive sweater, it is worn and loved. After that, I felt like I have enough of Selene sweaters in my life, and I needed a break. And also I wanted to venture out from knitting in the round, kind of this sort of Yorkshire sweaters, and I wanted to finally try a raglan construction. I've heard it's reasonably easy, so I thought, why not? So I chose for my first raglan sweater Semper sweater by the Knit Purl girl. I knitted it in Knitting for Olive Merino, so first time using Knitting for Olive Merino in color Dusty Artichoke, as well as Isager yarn silk Mohair. So the cost of the project is £75.60, and generally I was quite pleased with the project. I think it turned out reasonably well. However, when I tried it on, I felt it would be better if I had slightly more of positive ease. And then I let my daughter to try it on, and she's slightly, I mean, she's quite tall for her age, but slightly obviously slimmer build. And because she had slightly more of positive ease, it looked actually much better on her than on me. So I was like, okay. And I decided to give it to her, the sweater. But she kind of, I think maybe because of the mohair, even though it's mohair I found really soft, and in comparison, I think mohair and my daughter might not agree too much, and I didn't notice her wearing it, so this autumn in the end I just took it from her, and every now and again I wear. Overall, I'm actually quite pleased with the project, with the color, with the yarns I've chose. I quite like yarn. But yes, it's just like a nice basic sweater, and we never have enough of those in our lives. The next finished project is Helica pullover by Teddy Lutzak. I was quite surprisingly accepted into her test knit, and I was very excited. Again, it was another yoke sweater, and this one has quite a few lovely details, like the way the neck is constructed, the way you do these kind of, I don't know, stems. It's like nice botanical motif. I really enjoyed knitting it. It was reasonably quick, I mean, for the test knit as well. So I needed again the smaller size, and I used a Rosa Pomar Vovó. It's 100% wool, and it's not like the softest yarn. It's quite woolly, but it's not scratchy either. So somewhere in the middle. It's kind of like a workhorse, I guess. I was really pleased when I finished it. But when the autumn came, I think when I finished it quite late, like May, so I couldn't wear it at the time. And when the autumn came, I kind of, how to explain is, I think a lot of the patterns from Tati Lutzak, they're gorgeous, but they're often made quite short, because often the way she styles her knits, she uses dresses and kind of have these sweaters over dresses. That's not really my style. I often wear jeans and or like trousers, because I'm always cold. And I found, even though I'm quite petite, that this sweater is slightly too short for me. I keep on thinking I wouldn't mind to be a bit longer. I actually have one more a ball of this yarn left. I will see how it goes a few more times when I wear this, and maybe I will actually increase the length a little bit. The cost is £45.50 for this sweater. The next project is quite special for me. It is called Gadi Blouse Sola by Lene Home Samso. I don't know if the camera, it doesn't always show the color in all its glory, exactly how it looks. It is a beautiful emerald color. I was trying to get this color for quite a few months. I purchased quite a few different balls of yarn to actually make it. Let me actually show the main color. I loved it, and I actually have another project in mind. So the main yarn I used for this project is this gorgeous West Yorkshire Spinners Exquisite lace. Beautiful. You can see this beautiful emerald color, but I wanted to turn it down a little bit to make it lighter, and I was looking for yarn. So in the end, I chose two more mohairs. It is Rowan Kidsilk Haze and Gepard Garn Seta, and I kind of achieved my perfect color. Then I searched for the pattern which I could do. To be honest, I'm not sure on the construction of this, and the pattern doesn't specify. I quite liked it. Again, I was really pleased when I finished it. However, again, after wearing it in autumn, I kind of felt again that like the sleeves could have been longer, their length could have been longer. So it's another sweater that I do wear sometimes, but I feel it could be improved, again with the length. So maybe next year will be a year where I'm gonna fix and improve on my knits. Also, the price for this project is £95.76. The next project is Camisole No. 2 from My Favorite Things in Knitwear. That was quite an enjoyable project to knit. It was quite an interesting one. It was more or less my first ever top. I love the yarn. It was kind of the yarn badger, like a hand dyer in 50% silk and 50% merino. It was amazing. I loved it. Unfortunately for myself and for first ever top, it is knitted from the bottom up, and obviously I needed all this thinking, oh, it's all going fine. However, when I knitted the top part, I just don't think that the way it is constructed suits me, unfortunately. And again, I gave it to my daughter, and she didn't really use it in summer. So the yarn is quite special, so I'm pondering if I should repurpose it. But because I only have like one skein, I'm not sure what I can use it for, to be honest, which is why it just stays as the top for now. And I paid £19 for that one ball of hand-dyed yarn. As you can imagine, it was summer, and I was really inspired to work on summer garments. And the next summer top I've made is Soho Top by K-Tree. I needed it for myself, and I used Drops Muscat yarn. It was 100% cotton in DK weight, So it wasn't expensive, it was just £7.80, so quite cheap. I quite liked how this top sits on me. I think the designer was very clever. However, it is 100% cotton in DK weight, and I realized, you know, when it's summer, I would like things to be less heavy and breathable. So I possibly might use cotton, even though I realize I don't really like knitting with cotton, but most definitely in not in DK. I still think this top, and I wore it, it can be worn, especially with the UK weather, but often I would just wear it on the cooler days. On the hot days, when you would just wear a top, I just don't think it's practical enough for me. The next top I knitted is Pebble Top Solo. Sorry, it might not look its best, though I still love this color. It is knitted in Isager yarn tria, which is 50% linen, 30% cotton, and 20% lyocell. I've heard different things about this yarn. Some people really hate working with it. They find it quite hard on their hands. I, on the other hand, loved it. Yes, it's hard on your hands. It's not wool. But something in this yarn, I just found it really enjoyable. I really want to knit with it again. And actually in the bag, I have another project in mind with that yarn. I just love it. This top, I mean, I did a few modifications. You were supposed to do some kind of crochet edge here, but I tried a couple of times, different techniques. But personally, I just didn't like it. It's simple as that. So I decided just to have some crochet edge as a normal one. Nothing fancy. And while I did wear this top on my holiday, it is a really nice yarn for summer. I'm wondering what else I can do with it. It's still not very practical here in the UK because it turned out I can't really wear it, or at least I don't really like the way it looks with a bra. I'm not the kind of person who would wear something without a bra. At least not, I mean, on a holiday, maybe when it's very hot, but here in the UK, I just feel a bit conscious of that. So which is why this piece probably not gonna get a lot of wear, or at least here in the UK. I used 3 skeins of yarn here and I paid £22.50 for that. Yeah, so just a verdict. I like the yarn, but I realized I need more bra-friendly tops. And speaking of bra-friendly tops, this next top is actually a lot more bra-friendly than the previous one. And this is Calm Night Cami by Lily Kate France. I fell in love with the pattern as soon as it came out. So I think the designer uses some kind of acrylic blend yarn in sport weight. If I remember correctly, I decided to try something different. I already knew that I'm not a big fan of 100% cotton yarns. So what I did, I found yarn called BC Garn Summer in Cashmere, and it is a blend of 90% cotton and 10% cashmere. I was quite amazed how much difference 10% cashmere did to the yarn, honestly. And let me just show you this beauty. There you go. It's a lovely project, very well written pattern. It has all the details in place, schematic. I honestly was quite impressed. You can see that the designer is very thoughtful, very experienced, and really lovely to knit this pattern. From what I remember, I still had issues with the gauge, so I started, and for some reason my swatch lied to me. So I had to restart this project on smaller needles from what I remember. But this project, even though I finished it towards the end of August, so I didn't have too much time to wear it, but this is again something I would knit again. I really liked it, and it is much more bra friendly than any other tops that I've made in 2024. So how much I paid? I paid £24.43 for yarn for this top. So not bad. Okay, then I finished my magnum opus of the year. It was a beast of a project. I think it took me, let me actually see, over 3 months to knit it. And it is my, let me just find it. It is my Milady's dress from Inés Oliveira. I probably won't be able to show it very well, but that's the dress. So I knitted it in Knitting for Olive pure silk in color P shoots. So it is 100% silk, and I can't make it. The funny thing, obviously you can see it's huge. It was I can't remember, was it 275 I think, or 3mm needles. It took a while. What to say about this project? First of all, the cost is £53.99. It is including their buttons. And the funniest thing, it was actually the buttons. I was really, really hoping I can take this project on holiday in August. Even though I pushed really hard, it turned out I didn't buy enough of these lovely buttons. And I actually bought buttons suggested by the designer. I love them. I think they're really nice and the right size for this project. However, I didn't buy enough. And would you believe, when I realized that I can order from France, I go on the website and says that the shop is closed for the whole for the whole month of August. And I just realized there's not a chance. I was trying to get alternative buttons in my local shop. I even purchased some, but I really didn't like them in the end. And yeah, I just realized I failed. So while I really like this dress, I have to admit I'm yet to wear it, because by the time I finished it, it was already September. And here in the UK, you do have a limited amount of warm days where you can wear something like 100% silk. So I'm really looking forward to next year to finally wear it. Now we're moving on towards the autumn knitting, and now you'll see a small sibling. So this is again another Selene junior sweater, now for my son. I actually mostly knitted it from leftovers from actually my project. I had like 3 balls left over. So in the end of the day, I had to buy only 1 ball of drops air, which is why the project cost me like £3.35 apparently. Yep, again, very simple, very easy. And I will try to put up a picture. In autumn, I made my family to have a special photo all together, us wearing Selene jumpers. I thought it's really, really cute. And over Christmas period, we did quite a few outings where we just all were wearing the Selene sweaters. And yeah, people smiled actually. It was very sweet. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very, very sweet moment during Christmas. And yeah, that was joy. Another project I finished is a LANTA bag. Just so I can show you. LANTA bag by Susan Müller. I used Paintbox Young recycled cotton. Again, 100% cotton. You can probably see here. I didn't realize until actually I blocked this. I made a mistake somewhere here, most definitely. I mean, it doesn't really affect the use of the bag. When you knit it, you feel like it's not long enough, it's much shorter. And even though the designer does warn you, saying that don't worry if it looks like too wide and not long enough, it will change, especially as you will be putting any items in your bag. I thought, no, I really want to have a long bag because I want to put lots of stuff in it. However, I would say it is now a bit too big, and indeed when I put stuff in it, it kind of goes literally over my kind of hips and lower. It's still usable. I often actually have it as my emergency bag when I need to get some groceries, quickly, a few bits and pieces. So the intended use it still applies, but for anyone out there who wants to knit this pattern, please follow the designer's advice. She knows what she's doing. I paid £7 because I purchased extra yarn, and other yarn I actually had it for a very long time, so I don't even remember how much I paid for it. So the next project I've made is my first ever cardigan, and it is a little violet cardigan by Jessica McDonald. I used Drops Baby Merino again. I quite liked it. I think it's a very good yarn for children if you want to be able to wash items and not to be worried too much that your child destroys it. I quite like the buttons too. They're so cute. It's like with the like a birdie. it's a bit crinkled because I feel it's kind of a lightish cardigan, and my daughter likes it. I mean, it's a very good cardigan. It's quite short, so it's very good over some dresses. I think by the time I finished it, it was already October, so she didn't have too much time to wear it. She did it a few times, but now it's a bit too cold for it. And how much I paid? I paid £14.70 for yarn for this project, so not bad at all. So the next project I've made is Petal Drops socks by Florence Miller. These are kind of lovely lace socks. Unfortunately, I'm actually wearing them. I don't have them on me, but yeah, they're socks. I've knitted a few socks before, but this time I want to try something different. This is the first time when I finally tried Chagu shorties. I think in the pattern itself, Florence suggests to use magic loop, but I personally really hate magic loop, so I'm trying to find the way, what's the best way for me to knit socks. I realized first of all that I don't think lace socks, at least lace woolen socks, are practical for me, even though I'm actually wearing them. So, but it's not something I would like to revisit. But overall, the pattern is clear. Again, more or less the cost of this project is free. I had yarn for a few years before I even started knitting any garments, and actually knitting socks was more or less the first thing why I started knitting, because I feel like my ankles are often cold here in the UK, and my feet are reasonably small, so it's quite hard to find the right size of the socks for me. So all in all, I need to make more socks in 2025. The next project is Winter Sunrise Beanie, again by Tete Lutzak. She uses quite a different yarn than I chose. As you can see, this is the same color as my Selene Junior that was for my daughter, and I decided to try and make a beanie for her out of leftovers. So the cost of the project is more or less the cost of the pom-pom as well as fleece, which I decided to do fleece lining. So what is the cost? £7.85, because the yarn I already had and it just wasn't my stash. I mean, however, the hat turned out a bit smaller than expected, even though I think I restarted it twice. The first time it was even smaller. I mean, you can see on me, I don't know. I mean, not a big fun on for myself, because my daughter has like curly hair, so it looks much better on her. Anyway, I would say she prefers another hat that she has, that is much wider. So I feel like it was a good experiment, especially with the fleece lining, because I like my ears to be warm. But maybe this yarn wasn't the right choice for this pattern. The next project I've made is a sorrel sweater by Woollen Pine. It's a lovely, again, construction, like yoke. You have this lovely motif, and it is much easier to do than the way it looks. I absolutely love the look of the sweater. I'm really proud I've made it. The only thing about this sweater is that my arms are a little bit too narrow. However, it doesn't stop me from wearing it. I did wear it quite a few times. Again, maybe not for winter months, but this kind of October, November here in the UK. It's kind of nice. It has some mohair in it. Again, it was Rowan Kidsilk Haze. And I felt, I did try actually quite a few mohairs to kind of complement this hand-dyed yarn. So the other yarn was Mummy and Flory 4-ply Merino and Bamboo blend, so which is what I'm saying, it's slightly lighter. So it's like for autumn, springtime. And yeah, I think it turned out quite well, even though in the end I kind of ran out of my hair. I had to undo my swatch. I'm really proud of this piece. Because it was hand-dyed yarn, it was quite expensive. I paid £113.97 for this project, because I bought actually I think 4 different skeins of hand-dyed yarn. In the end I only used 2, because in the sweater you often kind of use more color variations, but I didn't really like the way the colors blend in. So I decided I have enough yarn, and I decided to just use one color, one hand-dyed color. And I'm actually pleased with the decision. I think it worked very well. Now we're going into the Christmas knitting category, and the next project I've made is Pochi. Let me just show you. I actually made two. Whoop! There you go. They're quite cute. So I've made one for my son and one for my daughter. They use it every night now, so it is a very successful project for Christmas. They absolutely love taking these in their beds. I'm really proud mama here. What to say? For this one I used Rowan model yarn, which I think I actually wanted to use it for my Helica pullover, but the yarn didn't really work out for me. And this is actually also Drop Daisy. So as you can see, it's interesting that Rowan model, I feel, even though it's been just a couple of weeks of using, it peeled quite a lot. Maybe because it has alpaca in it, but it's really, really peely. And in this one I was just looking today, I feel it peeled less, but you see it peeled as well here. But this seems to be mostly white, and this is my like white color is actually Merino, which I have, and this is like Falkland yarn, which is much kind of hard wearing, I guess. So nice yarn. So it's interesting to see how different yarns behave. This Pochi was free because I just had yarn in stash for a while, and this one is actually two. This is just like a stash project. I didn't really have any specific, I didn't buy it for anything specific, so it's just what I already had in my stash. Okay, and now the last sweater of 2024. Let me just show you. This is yet another pattern by Anne Ventzel. There you go. Yay. I've finished it recently. Actually, I had a vlog rather about it. It is a Raglan Constructions. I really like it. I feel like I really like Anne Ventzel's patterns. It is also surprisingly, I think when I looked at it, I thought it would be much lighter project, but the way it knits up, it is actually also quite a warm project, like a winter project. So for winter months, I feel like this might super Selene, and this project is just these two sweaters are the sweaters I'm currently wearing all the time. I'm really pleased with it. I actually don't really have anything I would like to change about it. I like the fit. I literally worked it as the pattern recommended, and I paid also not a small amount. It's £110 1 pence for some reason. The only thing, I think I ran out quite quickly of the yarn, so I used waxed Yorkshire Spinners Pure Decay and Lang Yarns Lace Mohair Silk. I think Mohair obviously helps the yarn not to peel, but overall really pleased with yarns, and I think these two sweaters kind of, they're winners. I really want to wear quite a few more patterns by Anne Ventzel. I feel that her patterns really speak to me. And the last project is a Field Mittens by Camilla Vant. I finished them, but it was a gift knit for my mother-in-law, so unfortunately I no longer have these mittens. It was my first time working with cashmere yarn, which is the reason why I really want to knit something in cashmere this year now. We will see if it will be possible, because it's obviously quite expensive. But the Cardiff Cashmere Classic that I used for this project was just so delightful. I was so impressed. Would love to work with this yarn again. What to say, the pattern itself, as I discussed in my podcast, was written not in a great way. However, it's still possible if you like the look of these mittens to make them. I left excessive notes on my Ravelry page. That is it. That was the last project of 2024. If you're still here, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. It will really help it to grow. You can also find me on Instagram, where I post also regular posts and updates on my project. You can find me on Ravelry. Here on YouTube, I'm planning to continue posting my regular podcast episodes, as well as I really want to film my kind of knitting intentions in 2025 video as well. I don't know yet what kind of format it's gonna be, maybe make 9, maybe something else, because I also want to kind of dip my toes more into the cables. Anyway, we will see. And thank you for watching and Happy New Year.